So, in my area, there's this carnival that comes once a year, and one year, me and my friend group decided to go and take some acid and weed while hanging out at the carnival. And the plan was to just kind of get mildly high, but still be able to function because we were going to be in a public space. But because I'm a dumbass, that didn't end up happening for me. But anyway, after we got there, we all gathered outside a porta potty and we took turns going in to eat a cracker covered in THC distillate because we had THC distillate, but we didn't have a pen to like vape it. So we just fucking put it on food and eat it, and it worked, even though it's kind of ghetto. But we took turns going in to eat a cracker covered in that and take a piece of a tab of acid. And after I went in and ate my cracker, I noticed a bunch of cracker crumbs at the bottom of the bag, and I didn't want anything to go to waste, so without thinking about it much, I just ate all of those, and then I put my towel on my tongue and I walked out, and everyone else went in and took their stuff. And when we were all done, Isaac, my friend who had brought the crackers and the tabs, said that someone had an extra cracker, and I thought about it and realized that all those crumbs I ate were probably a full cracker that got crushed up. But for some reason, I was being a total dick that day, and instead of just admitting my mistake, I played dumb, and I even kind of accused my friend Doug about it and said he was the one who did it. But eventually, Isaac let it go, and we moved on. After that, we started just walking around the carnival for about an hour or so. Around then, everything started to kick in for me, and I knew I made a mistake. The double dose of weed pushed the low dose of acid all the way up to a full-on intense acid trip that was too much for the public setting I was in. So I told them that I was too fucked up and I needed to sit down for a bit and I'd catch up with them later. And there's like these like tables and benches under this gazebo area that you can sit down at. So I went there and I laid down at one of the benches and I just sat down there and rested for a couple of hours, watched my crazy visuals, and by the time I was ready to get up and go look for them again, it was dark out and all the lights were on the rides, and it looked super pretty and amazing off the tab. But anyway, I get up and I go to look for them, and I'm still way too fucked up to be walking around, and all the carnival lights mixed with my acid visuals, and I can barely see where the fuck I'm even going. But I get further down the path, and before I even get that far, I already feel like I need to rest again. So I sit down under this tree, and while I'm sitting down there, Isaac's older brother, who was also at the carnival but not hanging out with my friend group, just doing stuff on his own, came up to me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And just wanted to make sure I was doing good because I guess I looked really, really fucked up, and he was worried about me. But I told him that I'd be fine, and he left. And then I got back up and found my friends. I found my friends after that, and I told them that I was tripping really hard, but I was done resting and that I'd follow them now. And after that, I think we got into some line for some food stall. I don't even remember what it was or if I was actually getting anything, but I was in the line talking to my friend Marissa, or Tony if you watch my other videos. She came out as trans recently, so I'm using a female fake name and female pronouns, but it's still the same person as Tony from my other videos. And I was basically telling her about my trip and how fucked up I was when some people that she knew from school came up and started talking to us. They said something to Marissa about how she said she did Vyvanse or something one time, and she was like, "Yeah, actually I'm high right now." And for some reason I got really paranoid and like told her to not tell them that. But then right after I did that, I realized that they were chill and I had no reason to be paranoid, so I started having a fucking laughing fit because I was so relieved. And her friends were like, "Shit, Psilo's clearly high too, because I don't know, it's funny right now." And then they walked away, and it was that was just really funny and made me feel a lot better. But after that, we got out of the line and got our food or whatever, and my friends were talking about some of the rides they rode earlier, and that made me realize I hadn't rode anything the entire night. And part of this was because even sober, I'm a huge pussy and I don't really like to ride carnival rides at all, but I did decide to ride something after they said that. Now, it'll probably sound really lame at first, and if I was sober, it would have been really lame, but on acid, it was fucking crazy. It was the fucking tilt-a-whirl. So, after I went through the line, I got strapped in, and it started to spin super fast, and I was getting tracers as I spun around, so I couldn't see anything at all anymore, basically. And I closed my eyes, and every rotation just felt so intense, and I could feel it throughout my entire being. And eventually, I started to lose touch with reality. The best way I can describe how it felt is that it felt like I was dropped into the center of a black hole, and it was spinning all around me, sucking me deeper in. But after what felt like forever, it stopped, and I stumbled off and collapsed into the grass next to the ride, and I laid there until I caught my bearings and didn't feel so nauseous. And once I felt better, I got up and met with my friends again, and I told them about how crazy the tilt-a-whirl was, and I talked with them about some other random crap, and we hung out a little bit more until we all decided that we were tired and we wanted to go home. So Isaac's brother drove us home, and I was still kind of tripping by the time I got home, but I just rested until I fell asleep, and that was it. Overall, this trip was pretty interesting. It was really overwhelming being that high in a public place, especially because I didn't mean to get that high, but there were a lot of cool parts, like seeing the lights, seeing the carnival lights at night, and riding the tilt-a-whirl. My main lesson from this trip would be to be careful with weed while tripping, because it makes your trip, it can make your trip a lot stronger and take you off guard if you're not expecting it. And also just to be careful tripping in public in general, as it's often a bad idea, bad setting, because it's really overwhelming. But thanks for listening to this video. The next report will be about another time I tripped too hard in a public place, this time at school on DXM, because I haven't talked about DXM alone since my very first 2 videos, and I want to take a break from the acid stories for a little bit. So I'll see you guys then when I make that video. Goodbye.